All right, what is going on, people? You know that sound. It is the Unfiltered Band. Means yes, another episode of Unfiltered coming your way here and now. Officially, this will go down as episode number 132. Free agent Carousel, all rise. Hopefully, you are all already a part of the Unfiltered Revolution. You can jump on board anytime on Twitter at Casey Stern. Get into the bio. You'll find my YouTube channel. Watch all the videos and whatnot. And of course, welcome Equal Opportunists Are We to where most of you are, where you listen at Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts as we continue. And thank you, Unfiltered Band, as always, for joining us. You can hop on board at any time. You can get involved and chat with me along the way in the comments on the YouTube channel or at Casey Stern on Twitter, replies or DMs. Happy to talk baseball or whatever we might be doing. We'll be getting into some basketball and hockey too, as the offseason and baseball wears on. Once we get on the other side of winter meetings here, just a couple of days before Thanksgiving. We'll also have another life pod out, which seems timely, certainly, to do for Thanksgiving week. That'll be part number 11, that coming out as well in episode number 133. I want to get into Aaron Judge a lot here today. A lot of people discussing where they may be betting that he ends up, but we know if you're doing any betting, it's with our good friends at Bet Online. Basketball is back. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, game trends over at BetOnline. Continued source for all your sports wagering information. BetOnline's got live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. It's always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events: NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. It's simple, people. Head over to betonline.ag. That's betonline.ag to join. Get your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. It's BetOnline, where the game starts, and we get started with, as we sit here today and do this live to tape, if you will, for whenever you listen during the Thanksgiving break to this podcast, on the day that Aaron Judge is scheduled to meet the Giants. A lot of people saw the video that came out viral, checking into the hotel, and or wherever he was in the lobby, I think it was, right, of a hotel, where somebody says to him, Aaron Judge, you're in San Francisco. What are you doing here? Visiting friends and family. And then I'm doing this to you, really bad winking job. I got to get Dwayne Johnson to hook me up with the winking. He winks into the camera. Aaron Judge, now he real good at playing this game, the game of baseball. He's the MVP. Home run record on the AL side, all the things that he's accomplished already. About to get probably an 8-year deal, well north of $300 million. But he also playing this game now, too. Aaron Judge, you never know how these videos get out and who leaks what. But you can tell by the wink, Aaron Judge not upset. Aaron Judge certainly not trying to pretend he's not in San Francisco for what we knew he was in San Francisco for. Now, it's not a surprise. It's not crazy big news. Aaron Judge was going to meet with the Giants. We knew that. Aaron Judge is going to meet with the Dodgers at some point, I'm sure, and we know that. Thanksgiving time, he's going back towards his family, easy breezy, take a quick pit stop and go meet with the Giants brass. Makes a lot of sense. But when it comes out and when you get the video and you look at the winking, I mean, he okay letting you know, hey, Yankees, hi, Yankee fans, going to meet with the Giants. It's like sitting there watching somebody that you're in love with and dating, and they're out there and they're on their way to another date, and they're taking a video and putting it out there on the interwebs to go let you know, hey, we're on our way. Hit up this dinner here at Mastro's. It's like he's sitting there with 2 wine glasses, and you got like a hand with some fingernails. You can't tell who it is, and just, giving you some intrigue and driving you nuts. Bananas if you're a Yankee fan or if you're the Yankee brass, but you knew this was going to happen. But he needs you to know it's going to happen. Why? Because when there is bidding, when there are more teams involved, there is more money that ends up being involved. The more that Aaron Judge can play it out like, hey, look, I don't got to be a Yankee. It's great you got all this money. It's great you may name me captain. It's great you got the New York Yankees. It's great you can win all the time. It's great you're in New York. That's all wonderful. Love being a Yankee. But hey, look, don't think I can't go home. Don't think I can't go somewhere else. Don't think I'm not wanted, because I'm wanted. Aaron Judge going to be wanted. Now, how many teams can afford him makes it a smaller group. But the Giants certainly in that group. Giants already are tied to and have discussed whether it be Senga or Nimmo, all the shortstops. Cody Bellinger most recently. They got interest in everyone because they got money and they got desire. Even though Farhan Zaidi came into this thing to rebuild it and to figure it out, remember when Bryce Harper, going back now 3-4 years ago, was a free agent, right after he came in, the ownership still said, no. We want star quality. We want that dude. Vegas guy, bring him back home. Let's get him back to the West Coast. And they're out there offering 3-4 years, $50 million a pop or whatever it was back at the time. That's not Farhan Zaidi. That's an ownership and a brass with the Giants that wants star power. They got the 1-1. To me, if you're drafting best place to go see a game in this sport, that place is going to be that place out there at Oracle Park. That's the spot. Why? Because it's the mix of the crowd and the concert atmosphere, gorgeous stadium. It is a great place to go watch big games, and having covered and being blessed enough to be lucky enough to cover many of those, I could tell you that's a spot you want to be. That's a crazy spot to play. Aaron Judge, a chance to go into that uniform and be the first since ... when you go back to Barry Bonds, even though with Bruce Bochy now with the Rangers and his group, Brandon Crawford's still there, they had 3 World Series championships. He was on 2 of those. Edgar Renteria, MVP of the World Series the first time. There's some Giants nuggets if you needed it for your Wikipedia page. But Aaron Judge was going to play the field. But now he's showing you, I don't need to be back at York. I got suitors. I got suitors with money. I got suitors with desire. I got suitors with a fit. And I'm out here, and I'm dating. And that's the mistake, and that is the gamble you take when you allow that to happen, circa down here in Atlanta where I am. Freddie Freeman in the situation with the Braves last year, had a chance to go back home, go west, met with the Dodgers, and, the rest is history. Now, I understand they get Olsen, and I understand the Braves were fine, and they won a division. They had a chance, came back from the deficit 10.5 games, and all those things, but they didn't want Freddie Freeman to leave. Braves fans could say whatever they want. They didn't want Freddie Freeman to leave. Yankee fans don't want Aaron Judge to leave. Met fans don't want DeGrom to leave. Astro fans don't want Verlander to leave. Braves fans now don't want Swanson to leave. Red Sox fans don't want Xander Bogaerts to leave. In the Aaron Judge situation with the Giants, this is a big-time suitor with lots and lots of money, the hometown appeal, but here's where they cannot offer Aaron Judge. The Giants cannot win in 2023. First of all, even if they're looking at Senga or other kind of pitching, the missing from Rodon, it wasn't enough what they were missing even with them. They got numerous holes. They're nowhere near where the Padres and the Dodgers are. And to me, now an 8-year deal is an 8-year deal, but if you're taking an 8-year deal and you're Aaron Judge, let's go back to Bryce Harper. He took a 13-year deal, 3-4 years in. A couple years in, he gets an MVP. 3-4 years in, boom, look where they were. But they weren't expected to be there. They only won 86 games or whatever it was. And they just made the run and got to the World Series and lost in 6 to the Astros. In large part because of Bryce. Well, as much as an MVP as Bryce was, it still took 3-4 years. As much as an MVP as Judge was, it's still going to take the Giants 3 to 4 years. The first 3-4 years of that 8-year deal, should he go to the Giants, he knows I can't win. Not going to have that problem with the Dodgers. Not going to have that problem with the Yankees. You want to include Cubs, Mets, others, Red Sox. Look, you can. But to me, it comes down to Judge going to be a Yankee, going to be a Giant, going to be a Dodger. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have always believed this to be the case, that it comes down to Aaron Judge. We can all predict whatever we want. I'm going to tell you that my prediction is, and I've said this, that Aaron Judge will go back to the Yankees. I do think he'll go back to the Yankees. But I think the New York Yankees are going to have to give him the best offer. And that is where things are a little bit different. Normally in situations like this, especially when you're looking people at the New York Yankees, if they go ahead and they give even money, right? They equal the top dollar. You go out there, Aaron Judge, you find out what the top dollar is, and we'll give you a couple of dollars above that. That would be enough. And it may be enough even if you don't give as much as anybody else, because we're the Yankees. We got a chance to win the World Series. You're in New York. You're the king of New York. You may become the captain. You get all the things off the field. You can make money with the sponsorships and whatnot being a Yankee. And all that going to be more than enough in any day of the week, twice on Sunday scenarios in this sport. But not in this one because of the way it played out, because he bet on himself, because he had the year he had, because of what happened and the fact that they didn't give him what he thought was a deal that was representative of him even before this past year that he turned down. And because of the fact of what happened with the fans and everything else and down the stretch of the season, he's not coming back to a team that he's guaranteed to go win a World Series by any stretch. And he knows right now that team, even with him and even with Anthony Rizzo returning and even with the guys in the staff and Cole and Cortez and Severino and what they have, they don't got enough. They didn't have enough last year to be as good as the Houston Astros. They don't have enough now. There's still more work to do. But he's a lot closer in New York than he's going to be in San Francisco. So at even money, is he going to want so desperately to leave that he's going to leave the Yankees and what he's got? Yeah, I saw somebody tweet out yesterday. It might have been our guy Sweeney Birdie. I can't remember who it was, but said, does he want to be Jeter or does he want to be Cano? Judge wants to be Jeter. And the point of that being, you got to go back. You got to stay. You got to play your career there. You got to be that guy. You want to go be in Monument Park. You want to go to the Hall of Fame as a Yankee. You want all that stuff to happen. You want to be the captain of the Yankees. You got to then go back to New York. And I still believe that as long as the Yankees come up to even money and they are showing that they are willing to pay for a guy they already know and love as much as somebody else who doesn't know as much about him and just wants him and the desire and the dating and the Giants and the Dodgers, etc., as long as the Yankees pay as much as that, he's going to go home. And I think he'll come back. And I think the Yankees will do it. I think they know they have to do it. The Yankees need Aaron Judge more than Aaron Judge needs the Yankees, but both need each other. Now, Aaron Judge could go to the Dodgers, and if they're willing to pay him even money, well, now I'm sitting there with Betts and Freeman. I got a chance to go win the World Series this year. The Giants, to me, are not as much of a threat in that way as the Dodgers are, other than what part of California does Judge from and where he wants to be in, because the Giants, Aaron Judge is going to have to wait 3 or 4 years. It's almost half your contract, not have a chance to win. He's not going to be. Aaron Judge goes on the Giants, they're way better. Aaron Judge goes on the Giants, more free agents think about it. But that's going to be something that develops over the next 2-3 years. That's not going to happen in the next 2-3 months. They go get Judge, even if they brought Rodon back or brought in a Sanger to replace him or whatever it might be, they're not catching the Padres or the Dodgers 2023. They're just not. So it comes down to whether or not Aaron Judge, to me, is going to get offered even money by the Yankees as he will somewhere else, and I think that he will. The Giants are going to be in play for Judge. Giants are going to be in play for all the shortstops. Giants are going to be in play for everybody, as well they should be. They got money to spend, and they got to find a way to cut that gap. But it's to start cutting that gap. Now, clearly, Judge going to be a big gap cutter. Trey Turner going to be a big gap cutter, not as much as Judge, right? And you go on down the list, Bogarts or wherever they go, Correa, the other guys they may be looking at, Nimmo, Bellinger, whoever else, right? They're involved in. Jose Abreu, it could be anybody, right? They're going to cut that gap, but that gap right now between the Padres, the Dodgers, and where the Giants are, it's just too big. It's too big. You can't do that with just Aaron Judge. He knows that. Now, Aaron Judge goes back to the Yankees. Rizzo, his buddy, already back there. Now that gap between you and Houston way smaller than it's going to be between the Giants where you'd be and where the Yankees are. It's just way different. But I think at even money, he goes back to New York. I'm predicting a lack of intrigue in a lot of this offseason. Now, I think with the trade winds that blow, things could get interesting. But, I don't know what going scratch is necessarily because I'll be honest with you, I really have not looked at a lot of, I know Trade Rumors does it, ESPN, The Athletic. Everybody's got this kind of, this is where this free agent's going to go. That's where that free agent's going to go. But I got what I'm calling the 5 and dive back home. I think DeGrom going back to the Mets. I think Judge going back to the Yankees. I think Verlander's going back to Houston. I think Swanson's going back to Atlanta. And I even think Bogarts may end up back in Boston. The 5 and a dive back to home. All it takes is one to shift and upset that apple cart. You hear Yankees in on DeGrom. Well, if they don't get Judge, are they going to spend all that money on DeGrom? Judge, let's say he signed early, went Giants or Dodgers, and the Yankees somehow got DeGrom. Now all of a sudden the Mets are desperate. Do they give Verlander an extra year? Then Houston, then it's a domino about who's going to be upset the most and be SOL, shit out of luck, if you will, right? Without a dance partner, well, that could happen. But I think in all these situations, and the least Bogarts are the 5 because of how they let him hang out there, but I still think it's a possibility. But I think in all these different situations, there's just too much of a desire for both sides to get together. Jacob deGrom, may not love New York as much as everybody else wants him to love New York, but he certainly seems to enjoy being a Met more than people think. And he wants the money and wants to get paid. If the Mets, and I think they're going to have to be, are willing to match wherever anyone else goes, and I think they're going to feel forced to, even in a fourth year. And we've talked about this. I think they're going to feel forced to do that. If they feel that and do that, why is he going to go to Texas for the same deal he can go to the Mets where he can go have a chance to win every year, knows where he's going to be, unless he's really that upset that they've been overprotective with him and he decides to dart for that reason? Doesn't make any sense. Rangers, same thing as the Giants. Yeah, how are they going to catch Seattle? How are they going to catch Houston? How are they going to catch where the Yankees are? How are they going to catch where even the Rays and the Jays are headed? And all of it in the American League. It's going to take them 2-3 years, even with Bruce Bochy. And my gosh, you can't love a manager more than I love Boch. You're just going to take time. It's going to take 2-3 years to do that. All right. So why would I, at even money, go to Texas when I can go back to New York? And I think that's why DeGrom goes back to the Mets. Now, if the Mets have DeGrom, they're not paying Verlander too. They're going to have Scherzer at $37 million or whatever it is a year, or $42 million or whatever it is. And then DeGrom at $45 for 3-4 years, which sounds crazy, but that's probably what he's going to get. Even if in that fourth year he's going to earn it with some incentives or some kind of things in years 2 and 3 or whatever, right? Then, who else going to pay you? Dodgers maybe with Verlander perhaps, but they ain't probably going back to Houston. So the domino effect and the ripple are going to be interesting, but it all comes down to, will the teams and the incumbents, if you will, right, that have these top players, will they offer even top dollars? Because if they offer even top dollars, they're going to get said player. If the Yankees match the Giants at even money, he's going to go back to the Yankees. Now, the only way he wouldn't would be that Aaron Judge maybe is more affected by what happened with the Yankees, how they treated him, how they, look, I know he didn't have this season yet, and they offered him a pretty good deal, and Brian Cashman wanted everybody to know, and I understand it, why they gave him the $200+ million and how much it was going to be and all of that. But at the end of the day, look, it's not rocket science. I don't care if you're working at Denny's and you're making, I don't even know what, $12 an hour, 13, whatever it is, plus tips or whatever you make, right? And nothing against waiting tables. I did it for years, but I'm just using an example. And, down the block or wherever, they got some other diner that's willing to pay you, more money to do it. You're going to go. If they pay you the same money, if you like where you are, you're probably not going. That's just where it is. That's life. The Yankees match the offers. I think they're going to be okay. Unless Aaron Judge says to himself, hey, look, you know what? They didn't want me bad enough, and maybe it's time for a change. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with all that in New York. We don't know. These are human beings that make these decisions. I talk all the time, and I'm honest with, everything we've seen now with the burner accounts and everything else with Kevin Durant, KD is a unicorn, and he's a Hall of Famer and a top flight first ballot guy, right? And all of that, right? One of the greatest offensive players in the history of the sport. But I always defended Kevin Durant when he left Oklahoma City and went to the Bay, because it wasn't like he was going to get more money in Oklahoma City. Why would you, who would want to play in Oklahoma City when you could be in the Bay Area on a better team, playing with Steph Curry, pretty much guaranteed a spot to go win a championship and go put yourself out there on even a bigger platform? Why would you, out in Cali, who wouldn't do that? Everyone would do that. Now, there are scenarios in this sport where it's been different. Now, Albert Pujols, who knows, at even money, does he go to the Angels instead of the Cardinals? We didn't get to figure that out because he got $50 million more than the Cardinals offered. 50 at even money. Is Robinson Cano going to go to the Seattle Mariners if he gets an offer of around 200 with incentives instead of 240? Maybe not, but at 240, gone. It's how desperate does the team want him back, and then what is the difference in the money? Because when they go leave, it's not just is the grass greener on the other side, but it's how much is there more green on the other side, more cash on the other side. If the Yankees match the Giants offer, whatever it's going to be, if they match the Dodgers offer, whatever it's going to be, they're going to keep Aaron Judge. That's what it comes down to. Now, somebody wants to go out there and say, I am willing to give Aaron Judge $370 million and, for 9 years, and the Yankees want to give 8 at 330. And even though it's all those years down the road, they might say, hey, we don't want to go there. Well, he may go there then. But then in his own mind, it's like, hey, how come the Yankees don't want to do what this other team wants to do? And the Yankees know what I do for them. And this team hasn't even had me yet. That's what it comes down to. Got to match that dollar. I think the Mets will. I think the Astros will. I think the Braves will, even though I don't know how many suitors with Swanson with all this going on with the other shortstops. Interesting to see on Bogarts what happens, which will play in part with Correa and Turner. But I think at the forefront of that, with Aaron Judge, even money, even Steven, I think he goes back to New York. A meeting with the Giants and the winking, he let you know, I'm out there to date. I'm out there to play. You don't do what you got to do, and we'll be all rise out there in San Francisco by the Bay. We'll be rising over McCovey Cove instead of where we are in the Bronx. We are always here. It is Unfiltered. Free agent carousel rolls on. 132 in the books. As always, we are thankful on a Thanksgiving week to say that we are presented here at Unfiltered by our good friends at BetOnline.